got gadgets.
We've got news.
And more.
And this week on episode 299 of the StressLess Camping RV podcast, we've got updates on the nation's largest RV club.
We've got a way to save money on the internet.
And a safety hack that could brighten your day.
We have this week's podcast along with the notes and all the stories to go with the episode, and discounts, deals, and helpful hints on our home on the web, StressLessCamping.com.
Sit back, grab a beverage. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you for joining us for episode 299 of the podcast.
I'm Tony.
I'm Peggy.
We're two RV industry veterans who travel part-time
In this mini light,
looking to share big adventures and help you with great tips,
tricks.
and discounts, and I didn't even have to read that.
Hey, after 299 episodes,
gosh.
we've learned one sentence. Yay us.
One of the ideas we had was perhaps share a beer from our road, from our travels, as it were, which is going to be interesting if we record this in the morning.
Oh dear.
Hey, you can't
just talk about it?
Well, I guess I could. Anyway, we happened through Louisiana, and there's one of my favorite breweries there, Abita Springs. We stayed at an RV park, a KOA, and they had a bunch of Abita Springs, but they also had the seventh tap.
The seventh tap.
From Shreveport, Louisiana, and it's a Cajun Kolsch.
It's pretty darn tasty.
It really is. Kolsch is a German style beer, or Kirsch, and it's pretty doggone good. So I will be sipping this while we share what we've got for you this week on the podcast. So
also what we've got for you this week, well, what I've got for one person is happy birthday to my mother on the day that this podcast comes out. My mom will be having a birthday. Having a birthday. I don't think she's afraid to say her age, but I'll let her be the judge of that.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well,
so the reason that we're on the road, this time is at least twofold. Twofold as of now.
As opposed to Benfolds.
As opposed, to the Benfolds 5. We have been in Georgia, which we're going to talk about extensively this week. But now we're in Texas, and we're going to be teaching a Girl Camper college in Texas.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of workshops and seminars, and we're doing this camper college at an undisclosed location.
That's right.
In Texas.
In Texas.
They don't share where they are.
Texas is a really tiny place, so you'll probably narrow it right down.
But it's a 3-day immersive session where you bring your own RV, and we work with you to learn all the systems and functions of that RV. So we have been very privileged to be able to teach these classes to a number of gatherings of Girl Camper.
Right. So if you are a Girl Camper, which means you're a female and you camp, you can also join these classes. We'll have one in the Eastern Sierra in June, and we'll have one in the Ohio, Pennsylvania area in September. So let me know if you're interested. And also, if you have a group of people that wants to take a class like this, it doesn't have to be a Girl Camper event. It can be us. I mean, it's us anyway, but you can organize that through a dealership, through a campground, through whatever group that you are interested in having join in. So get in touch with us if that's something that you're interested in, and we can give you the details about having what we call basic training camp.
Yeah, if it's
not for Girl Camper.
If it's under the StressLess Camping banner, it's RV Basic Training. If it's under Girl Camper, they call it Camper College. But it's essentially the same class.
Right.
And we'll have some really nifty things on our website soon to support that additionally. Well, you know that every week we get to share how much we enjoy our solar and lithium system from ABC Upfitters, and that's not what we're going to talk about this week.
What?
In addition to solar and lithium systems, ABC Marketing, which is the parent company of ABC Upfitters, does a lot of stuff within the RV industry, including a company called Stellar Lighting. And Stellar Lighting does all kinds of lighting products for RVs. If you look at some of the new RVs that have the beam of light lighting across the roof.
Yeah, the strip light in the ceiling.
That's probably Stellar Lighting.
It's like a strip of LED.
There are lights under coaches. They have lights on the new Keystone Rain, I believe. It's like a colored lighting that goes around the perimeter. So they have all kinds of cool lighting stuff. And when we were having our system installed, they had a prototype of a red, what they call rail light. And what, you know, Ben, I don't know if you remember, but this is now our third Rockwood.
Yeah.
And the first one we had was only a few months. And it was a sad, sad day when we got rear-ended. The lady didn't see our brake lights.
Yeah, I remember.
It was, yeah, and it totaled that trailer and our bikes. You know, I wish there was something we could do to make the taillights better or brighter.
You know what, Tony? I got an idea.
Oh! Oh
Look at
my
that.
gosh! Wow! Boy, no one's gonna miss that.
Yeah.
But that looks, wow, it looks like a big change. How hard is that to put in?
So Stellar Lighting is one of our companies. We sell lights to the RV builders, and we developed a linear light that goes into the track on the corner of a travel trailer. It just slides right in here in place of the screw cover. We call it rail light, and that goes in. And this particular unit, we have it tied into your brake lights and your turn signals. So when you stop, people are going to see you.
Oh yeah, they're going to see that. So they also work with the turn signals?
Yep, absolutely.
Huh.
Yep.
Wow. So in those states where you're actually supposed to use turn signals, because I know some of you, I've watched some of you, that is going to be very noticeable. And these are, the color is brake light red,
Yes.
right? So it's an actual legal color.
It is. It is. You still have to have the SAE tail light in place, but all this strip is doing is complementing your SAE turn signal and brake.
That is awesome. I think everyone's going to want that.
Yeah.
How do I get these?
Well, you can call ABC Upfitters because this can be part of our package that we install for the customer when they come in. We will have lights available soon. We have them in many other colors, but red is something new that we're just starting. So customers can call us at 574-333-3225.
That's 574-333-3225, a number I know well.
Or you can reach out on abcupfitters.com. We have contact info and ask about our rail lights, and we'd be able to get you some information.
That is an amazing piece of safety gear.
Yes.
And it just goes right into what's called the insert molding. It's what they put to go over the screws on the corners of these RVs. And this just slots right in there. It's a brilliant solution, both literally and figuratively.
574-333-3225.
Yeah, you talk to the people there at 574-333-3225, and they can hook you up with all kinds of great stuff. We love our solar and lithium system. We also love our rail lights. So.
Yeah.
Where were we last week?
So last week, by the way, it's really hot in Texas right now.
Yeah, it's March, and it's
very windy, but it's very warm. So we have the air off, of course, so you can hear us. So we were in Georgia, where it wasn't quite so hot or windy, except that one night we almost got a tornado. Anyway, we were in Georgia for the FRVA convention.
Wait a minute. FRVA?
Yeah, FRVA.
Who in the wide world of sports is the FRVA?
That's the new identity of the FMCA. So for many years, about 60 years, the Family Motor Coach Association has been active as a membership group. And in the last, I think it was 2017 or 18, they voted to have, allow towables and things other than motor coaches because their numbers were dwindling, and they recognized that sales are a small amount of the what did I say? Class A's are a small amount of the sales of RVs, and a lot of people are looking for something to join that have a towable. So,
and there's so many benefits to the FRVA. Some people join because they get their tires for much less money. They might join for a program called Medical Assist.
Yes.
And what that is if you are on the road and you get sick, the FRVA has a program that'll get you and your RV and your family back home.
Right.
And it's just part of the membership.
So we've been members of FRVA, well, FMCA, FRVA, pretty much since towables were were welcomed in. And they have 2 conventions a year, usually in the spring in the south and in the late summer, early fall in the north part of the states. And this year happened to be March in Perry, Georgia. The theme happened to be Lafitte's Lost Treasure.
It'd be a piratey theme.
It was a piratey theme, so we took full advantage. We taught our seminars in pirate costume. We really, embraced the pirate theme of the pirate's life.
We were looking for the booty.
Oh no. So that was a lot of fun. There was a parade, there were pirate costumes, so it was just really a lot of fun in terms of pirate stuff.
Yeah, but more importantly, there are about 1,500 RVs there. We got to meet some people that we have only spoken with online, like Bernie Cullitzen, Uncle Bernie.
Uncle Bernie.
We got to meet Uncle Bernie. We also got to meet Patrice and Kevin McCabe from RV There Yet. What gracious, wonderful people. And the FRVA gave them their own room, so they did their own seminars, their own workshops.
Yeah.
They did RV demos, answered questions, things like that. Speaking of demos and seminars and all of that, you already said, we
taught 3 seminars. We teach a seminar called Don't Be Spooked by Boondocking. We teach one about RV and personal safety and security. And we teach one where we talk about our favorite apps for traveling.
And all of those are articles on StressLessCamping.com. We also have other seminars, so if you're putting together a gathering of RVers, we also do workshops and seminars.
Right, so if you don't want that basic training that I talked about earlier, everyone's kind of past the basics, but you still want to have some seminars, reach out to us and let us know, and we will give you some details on how that can happen.
Also, not in the notes, there is a big haul of stuff. All of the gadgets and all that.
Yeah. Oh, there's always vendors. Yeah, so there's all kinds of vendors, and much like when we go to Quartzsite and we walk through the tent of vendors, there aren't really as many as there are in Quartzsite, and
Quartzsite's insane.
They're more like really RV focused. There's less like wigs and
I know. What am I gonna do?
So, although there was a wig booth.
Was there?
Yeah, there was. I saw it. So anyway, it's always fun to walk through the vendors and buy things you didn't know you needed. You probably don't really need, but it's really fun anyway.
I think we spent less money at this FRVA convention than we've ever spent at a gathering.
Probably so. I think we have maybe hit a maximum capacity of stuff. We have everything that everyone sells because we always buy it.
Yeah.
So maybe perhaps we're leveling out a little bit.
Maybe. You did go to a couple of seminars that I did not go to.
We did. So there was a seminar particularly for women about, I guess, or really for the current non-driver, whether that be man or woman. The idea is that if you are not the primary driver of your RV rig, you should know how. You should be slightly practiced, at least slightly practiced in knowing how to do that job, knowing how to, get hooked up, get ready, knowing how to drive. If your significant driver is incapacitated for some reason, maybe they just have terrible cold and they just can't, they're falling asleep at the wheel. It doesn't have to be a giant emergency. If it's a giant emergency, then you call FMCA assist and they help you. But if it's just someone who's tired and needs you to take over driving, it would be a shame to just pull over where you are and not make any more progress because you are not familiar with being behind the wheel. And so I always encourage the non-driving partner to drive, to learn how to, and this is not only for driving, it's for all the quote-unquote outside jobs versus inside jobs. A lot of people call them that. I usually do the inside jobs and Tony does the outside, but I can do all the things outside and he can do all the things inside, because if one of us goes camping solo because the other one's traipsing around California with their family or something, you have to know what to do on the opposite side of the walls from where you are. And so that was just a really, really encouraging seminar. I saw a lot of feedback, people thanking the seminar hosts for teaching it and encouraging. And a lot of those ladies said, I got in and I just drove to the white line at the fuel stop. Anything, get behind the wheel. She said, if you're not ready to drive it, sit in it and turn the key, turn it on. Turn the lights on, do something, get more and more and more comfortable and familiar. And so that is something I really encourage everybody to do. Not that you want to take over that job, just know how to do that job in case you have to.
Well, and that probably applies to also hooking. A lot of the people at FRVA are still Class A owners.
Right.
So hooking and unhooking the toad.
Your toad, sure.
But if you're a towable fifth wheel or travel trailer, hooking and unhooking the fifth wheel or travel trailer. So both people, and if you have older kids, let's say teenagers, they should also be aware of just the steps and be a part of the process.
Be able to help when necessary.
And of course that means checklists, right? And checklists make for stressless camping.
Right. Another seminar,
easy for you to say.
Another seminar that I attended. Another seminar that I attended, and Tony came in with me, but then there was a different seminar that we noticed that he would rather go to, so he left right before the speaker said, and the pilot's job is to say thank you. So he missed that part, so I have to remember every day to remind him that that's his job. It was how to be a good co-pilot. And so that doesn't mean sit in the passenger seat and sleep, right? And it kind of doesn't even mean if you're in a Class A, get up and make lunch. Although, I know people do, I know people don't. We're not going to talk about that. That's not what we're here to get in an argument over, whether you should get up or not. But your job as a co-pilot really is to keep an eye on the map, know when the next fuel stop is, know when the next rest stop is, open the bag of snacks, fast forward the commercials on the podcasts.
Except on the StressLess Camping RV podcast, of course.
Well, no, don't fast forward those. No, of course not. No. But those paid, those advertisements that are very obviously advertisements,
some of them.
We fast forward through those, of course. So, but that's my job. I can reach over to the dash, and Tony doesn't, take his eyes off the road and everything to do that.
Well, here's a weird thing. I'm a nerd, and I think a lot of you recognize that. And I love technology, and I think some of you might know that already. I don't know what it is, but I cannot find a gas station in front of me. I can find all the ones we've passed. So I'm a lousy passenger, and it makes me mad.
He's not a great co-pilot. He's not a bad passenger. He's not a great co-pilot or navigator.
And that jerk that lives in the phone, and I shall not mention their name.
Don't do it.
Because
you make her wake up as soon as you say
Shlomo, if Shlomo were all that smart and had that Apple intelligence, Shlomo would know where I'm going, not where I've been.
Know that we're moving 60 miles an hour west. Don't show me the gas station to the east.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what makes me good as a co-pilot.
She's really good.
I can read the maps. I can find the coming up things. I can change the radio station, so to speak. Search for the next podcast. Pause. Read the texts to him so he's not trying to read while he's driving.
Our friends. We have this group of friends, And once one person responds,
it becomes
it's on.
a text fest.
It is like bing, ba, bing, ba, bing, ba, bing, ba, bing.
And he's got FOMO. He can't stand to not know what's happening. So I have to read, and then I have to describe all the gifts to him.
Or is it GIFs? GIFs or GIFs?
We're not here to argue that either.
That's right.
Anyway, so that was a really great seminar that just really, kind of brings home the fact that everybody has a job to do, and do I sleep? Sure. I fall asleep nearly every day for at least a few minutes.
I know how to make her fall asleep. Listen to the
certain podcasts
Mac Break Weekly.
Yeah,
I love the tech
I'm not
guy.
interested in. He listens to those, and I take a little snooze and then wake up to fast forward through the commercials.
Yeah. So anyway, those are two that we went to. I went to a few others too, but nothing earth-shattering.
There's always entertainment, which is great.
Yes.
So we missed a couple. There's like entertainment every night, and we didn't make it to all of them. But the one that we don't miss is there in Perry. There are they're not actual brothers. Their name is something brothers, but they're not really brothers. But they're dueling pianos,
and they're so good, they're so entertaining.
If you have never seen dueling pianos, I have never seen a bad show of dueling pianos. They are amazing musicians. They know every song on earth because these guys play purely by request.
Yeah.
Like the first song or whatever, while they're warming us up, is something that they choose, and then they play requests all night long. They take turns playing requests. They get you up on stage, up in the front to dance with them. They're funny. They're entertaining. They're really good musicians. Like every dueling piano show I've ever seen has been
I have never seen a bad dueling piano show. I'm sure there's one out there, but yeah, and so that was one that we did not want to miss. We also got to spend time with the vice president. So one of the neat things about the FRVA, a lot of people join because of discounts on tires or the medical assist or all the other discounts that there are part of the FRVA. But really where you get, in my opinion, is the most benefit is in the local chapters. So meeting other people. And we spent so much fun time. We got to spend time with Mike Sokol, and we got to spend time with a lot of the members. And one of the things I really like are the breakfast donut events.
Not really breakfast. It's donuts and coffee.
Donuts and coffee. And the frustrated maestros.
And the frustrated maestros are always entertaining and singing. But you go for donuts and coffee. You get a donut. You get some coffee. You sit down and you just start chatting with whoever you're sitting near.
Yeah,
and that is a great, great social hour. It's not a very nutritious breakfast. It's donuts.
Right.
But it's more about the social aspect. A lot of this is really about the social aspect. I think our first one that we went to in Wyoming is when we met Paul and Cindy.
Yeah.
We were just sitting at a table, like randomly resting and working, and they came up and sat at our table and started chatting with us, and now we're like together 2 or 3 times a year.
Yep.
So
and Paul and Cindy aren't the only one.
No.
And so the friendships you make and the community you build by being part of this and going to the events can't be underestimated. It's super fantastic. So I want to make sure that because you always say chapters. Yes, there are chapters. Chapters are more specific locations or special interests. So we belong to the chapter called the Golden Spike. I was going to say the Foamers, but no, they're called the Golden Spike. They're train freaks, right? They're train nuts. Train freaks. They're foamers.
They're I think there's some kind of a beer chapter, but
I don't think there is.
Well,
and
anyway,
there should be.
There are chapters, but in between the international and the chapters are regions. North America is split up, so there's Canadians in the Western chapter, the Rocky Mountain chapter, and I don't know all the now I did it. Region. There's the Western region, the Rocky Mountain region, and other regions that I can't name because I don't know them. because we've only belonged to the two, but they are regional. And so you go from international, where it's all thousands and thousands and thousands, and then you go down to regional, which is hundreds and hundreds, and then you go down to the chapters, which could have a few members, could have a lot of members, but they're a lot of times...
You can start your own chapter.
You can start your own chapter, but they're a lot more kind of interest-based.
Yep. So, anyway, we got to spend time with Wayne, who's the new VP of the Rocky Mountain chapter. Region. Now you've got me doing it. And just has a really good vision for what needs to be done. But I'm going to say the president of the FRVA, Paul Mitchell, I got to sit in a couple of his presentations. And the FRVA, there's no hiding the fact that it used to have 120,000 members and is now down to 55,000. And there are challenges in the organization.
As there are really with any organization.
But people like to belong to stuff less. I mean, you look at your local Kiwanis or Rotary or any of those, and they're losing membership. But Paul really has a good vision and grasp on reality, and I think he's got a good idea of how to move the organization forward within the reality of today.
Paul is the president.
Paul is the president, and just a super great guy. And they have a new marketing person. They have a number of new people. And I have to say, to a person, it was very encouraging, very knowledgeable, honest, forthright people who I think are going to take the FRVA and really make it an even better value to the membership. So if you are thinking of joining an RV association, we have a discount to the FRVA, and we really like the organization and think they are moving in the right direction. And if you do decide to join, and maybe you should, go to one of the local chapter meetings.
Yeah.
It's just, we all share the same thing. They're RVers. We're all RVers.
Right.
Some of us are dreamers, but whatever.
But meet them anyway. So we can lead into the Gadget report without leaving the FRVA convention, because one of the things that we did spend money on was this week's Gadget report.
Tech Connect.
Yeah.
And a lot of you might know we do have Starlink. Right now, as we record this, Starlink Roam is unlimited, is $165 a month. It's no small investment, but it almost always works great. But one of the advantages of Starlink is you can turn it on and off, right? So if you are off the road for a while, you can turn off Starlink, which we do, or it's fairly flexible, but $165 a month. And there are some people who are like, well, for whatever reason, want to see an alternative to Starlink. Well, we looked at FRVA's Tech Connect program, and we've had this before, but now it's a newer program with T-Mobile is the provider, and they claim it's truly unlimited, but of course it's cell phone based. So we signed up for it. It's $60 a month for that unlimited service, and thus far, now of course this is going to change based on where we are, but thus far it has been incredible.
It's been really good. So I don't think we've turned on Starlink since we bought that to kind of experiment, but between the AT&T on my phone, the T-Mobile on the Tech Connect, and the Verizon on Tony's phone, we have had enough phone signal, sometimes incredible phone signal.
Oh, yeah.
So that we have not needed so much reliance on Starlink.
And so what we did...
it's a heck of a lot more versatile. I don't mean versatile, portable.
Yeah,
it's a heck of a lot more portable than Starlink.
It runs on 12 volts, so it's also better off the grid.
And it has its own battery, right? So
it has its own battery.
So it's working right now, even though he's holding it in his hand. For those people who are listening and not watching, it's about the size of a cell phone.
Yeah.
And so we can, throw it in a backpack or throw it in a pocket, really, and carry that T-Mobile signal with us.
And like I said, I've been impressed with the signal. The way we've saved money is this is $60 a month. So I dropped our Starlink plan to the $50 a month, which is 50 gigs. And then you can buy additional service as you need. But 60 and 50
is less
than 165. And so
there's your math lesson.
$500 basically over the course of a year is what I feel I'm saving. Well, there's 5 years of FRVA membership.
There you go.
I mean, truthfully, that's how the math. Thus far, great service. We've been Louisiana, Georgia, here in Texas. Thus far, the T-Mobile system has been really, really fast and very good. Right now, I'm here in Texas. My Verizon phone is getting about 160 megabits down, and this thing's getting 500 megabits down, which is pretty fast. Now, that's not my expectation, generally, but it's faster than I've been getting on Starlink. Now, if I wanted to make this cell system work better, I could opt for a cell booster. So I could make this work better by putting an external amplified antenna outside the RV, and I may still do that. We'll see, and of course we'll keep you up to date on how good this is. But it's just another FRVA, a thing you can get through them, and thus far I've been very, very pleased.
So last week's question of the week, I caught a good one this time.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great answers. And we asked kind of under what circumstances do you listen to podcasts? We kind of are breaking this answer up into three, like let's say what's app you listen with, when and how you listen, and what you listen to. So we got a lot of great answers. And so what we found was Apple Podcasts and Spotify both kind of came in neck and neck as far as just listening to a podcast.
Which supports, nationwide kind of stats. Apple and Spotify are about, well, depends on who you ask, but Apple and that's audio only, of
But for
course.
our listeners who answered, they're equal.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But by far, YouTube was way in the lead. So a lot more people are watching YouTube than are, people who answered. And some answered YouTube plus, whatever podcast app. So whatever that means, there are quite a few of you who are watching this on YouTube. So hi! I hope you like the glisten.
It's glisten while you listen.
It's glisten while you
Everything
listen.
else, Amazon, Audible, Roku, Overcast, Pocket Cast, we're equal.
Yeah.
Same numbers.
So other podcasts that people listen to are RV Miles.
Us too.
We do. Traveling Robert.
Us too.
We do. Camp Nowhere.
Haven't heard it.
I haven't.
We'll listen.
RV Atlas.
We do too.
Dear Bob and Sue.
Haven't heard it. We should.
Exploring National Parks.
Love it.
Well, is that the same as America's National Parks? No,
maybe
America's
not.
National Parks is the one we listen to.
Right,
I don't know
and
if
that,
you've heard
nobody
Exploring
Oh,
National
no,
Parks.
that did get mentioned.
The Wandering Shores.
Haven't heard it. Gonna find it.
Red Handed. I'm not so sure that's RV based. I have a feeling it's a crime thing.
Yeah, which, by the way, is the hot thing right now in podcast is true crime.
The KQED forum, Stuff You Should Know.
Which my brother-in-law,
turned us on to. And My Favorite Murder.
Haven't heard it.
We listen to, what's not on that list is Part-Time Genius. Sometimes we listen to Ologies.
Yeah.
And we listen to, oh my gosh.
Girl Camper.
Of course we listen to Girl Camper. We listen to Clark Howard for financial advice.
The RV podcast with Mike and Jen.
The RV podcast. And when it's time for me to take a nap, Tony listens to tech stuff about tech and Apple and things like that that I don't understand. Mac Break Weekly.
And then I listen to a lot of news-related podcasts too.
And so something that we learned is that people have a lot of different ways that podcasts serve them. So some of you are enjoying podcasts while you're doing things like walking Zappo or other dogs, cleaning, driving, gardening, going for walks, things like that. A couple people said that they can't concentrate on both podcasts and driving. So they listen while they go for a walk or do the gardening or something. They don't try to listen and drive. Tony kind of can't keep his mind focused on driving without having a podcast to help him. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how it happens.
I can
but
tune out pieces, whereas music, I can't. If I am like in a city and I need a lot of turns and stuff, can't listen to music, because when music comes on, in my mind, we're all rock stars, right?
Yeah, right.
And I have to play and sing along, and so it's all encompassing. When there's good tunage on the old radio, I'm in.
I like to listen while I go for a walk or when I drive, because I think it kind of helps me. If I used to just listen to music before there were podcasts, and I think that was going to keep me awake. But frankly, if you listen to a radio station or, even a Sirius station, you already know all the songs. I don't stay engaged. Like, I might sing along on the ones I know, but it doesn't really keep me alert. And so listening to a podcast or an audio book or something, I have to stay awake to pay attention. So as long as I'm awake, I might as well watch the road too.
That's the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio.
The Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. That helps us relax at night.
Yeah. Anyway. So it's interesting to me how differently people consume podcasts and how they affect your thinking process. So thank you for sharing, and of course you can continue sharing, because this is fascinating to me.
Yes, please do.
And we also have a new question this week.
So the question for this week is, do you name your RV? Now, please don't just say yes or no. Please,
you gotta share.
Tell me the name. Tell me how it got its name. Now, I will say I have a history of naming everything. When I had houseplants, every houseplant had a name. I have always named everything, and this trailer has not told me its name. I don't know
its name.
The
sticker on the outside says Rockwood. Mini Light.
So this
I don't
trailer
name things.
And also this truck don't have names.
It has a big old thing on the outside that says Ram.
So this is Ram and Rockwood?
Yeah. It says it. There's a sticker on it.
Okay. Anyway.
No, everybody does things differently.
But I think I love to hear why people name their rigs, what they name them. So please, show us a picture, tell us its name, tell us how it got its name. Yeah. I remember when we had the vintage trailer, I wanted to name it Daisy Duke, and I was trying to make curtains out of cut off denim and stuff. So
yeah, that's true. That was pretty cool. Anyway, you can answer that question. Ask your own questions that are fun and friendly. StressLess Campers Facebook group.
Also, you know that we have a once a week newsletter. If you didn't, you do now. And you can sign up anywhere, all over the website, are chances to sign up for that once a week newsletter. We send you links and stories and things in the RV world that we think that, you can get some help out of, some information to help your stressless RVing be more stressless. Obviously, I didn't read that. We do only send one newsletter a week. We don't have time for any more than that. You don't have time for any more than that. So we don't want to fill your inbox with a bunch of stuff you're not going to read.
Junk.
So please read it when it comes in. Sometimes there are contests, and sometimes you have to read it to know that there are contests. So please sign up for that and let us know that you want to hear from us once a week.
You'll also find the notes for this episode 299.
299. You know what that means? 300 is next week.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's some kind of math.
We have to come up with something spectacular, super spectacular for 300.
Right.
Wait, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up. All right, you can also check out our new favorite RV products and services page on the things you'll need for your stressless camping adventure.
And we're in all the social places. So when you've gotten all the discounts and you've read all the notes and you've signed up for the newsletter and you shared, you can jump off to Facebook, and all the other social places that we are.
Yep, and of course, if you don't want to miss a future episode of the StressLess Camping Podcast,
it's free to subscribe on any podcast catcher.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really makes a difference.
We are saving you a seat around our virtual campfire. We appreciate you coming and listening or watching us this week and every week. We are going to turn the air conditioner back on.
You darn tootin'.
So have a fabulous week and StressLess Camping.
We hope you learned a lot and had some fun and got some tips for your next stressless camping adventure. We're honored by your reviews on Apple Podcasts, which helps others find us too. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on the adventure, and we look forward to your joining us next week. Until then, happy camping!